In the following video, I'm going to take a look at a new Bluetooth speaker that was sent to me by the people at Acc to try out, show you guys the features, and take a listen to how it sounds. We're also going to take it apart and see what the build quality is, and give this thing a full workout on all the features that it has, coming right up on Tech Talk. Okay, it's time for another unboxing of another one of these Bluetooth speakers, and we'll see how this one operates, and we'll see how good this one sounds. As you can see, this one here features a 3.5mm auxiliary input, has a built-in microphone, so it's going to have a speakerphone on it as well, and it has an FM radio. So let's take a look at this unit. We'll just pop open the package. There you go, folks. That's the first time this thing's been opened since it left the factory. So you're seeing it first here. We open the package, comes with a little instruction manual, and here's our little speaker assembly. Actually looks kind of cool. Comes with a USB plug and a 3.5mm input. And unlike other speakers that I've looked at in the past, this one here actually uses a special 3.5mm cord which goes through the USB plug, which is really quite interesting. I haven't seen one that does that. You see, it's got a dual cord. So if you lose this USB charging cord, you won't be able to use this with as an input right from your device if you're just going to use this as a speaker. Most people aren't going to use this as a 3.5mm input anyway. Most people are going to use this as a Bluetooth speaker. It shows here's your input. It's got a line and DC input. So for charging, you would plug in your USB cord here. What I'm curious is whether this is whether it is actually USB compatible as well, or whether it's just for power and the line input. On here we've got our Bluetooth control, our phone control, and skip forward, skip backwards. You can plug in an SD card, so if you've got music on an SD card you can plug that in directly. It does have a headphone plug, so you can plug headphones into this as well. And there's the microphone. Let's see how easy this thing is to pair. So I turn on the power. Let's see what it does. So it's flashing blue, which is probably waiting for me to pair it to my phone. I'm doing this without looking at any manuals too, right? So let's see whether I can find it on my old BlackBerry. So go to Bluetooth. And there it is. Acc MC. We'll just click on there. And yes, I trust it. And it's now successfully paired. So let's open up my file manager here. We'll go to some royalty-free content. It will be in media card. And I'm going to go to music. I'll go down to my royalty-free content because that's all I can play. And we'll pick some 50s rock and roll and see how it sounds. Adjust the volume with the volume buttons on here. There you go. speakers on the top on this one. So the buttons on the side here adjust your volume. Oh yeah, it's got a plus and minus on it as well. I wasn't looking at it closely here. If we look closely, indented into the plastic is a plus and minus for your volume. Play and pause. And this one here is this is an M, and it probably is for muting when you're on the phone. So let's see how far this thing goes. So I was able to get about 17-18 meters away before it started to get choppy. I'll point the camera out so you can see how far I can actually make it before it cuts out. We'll see how far this thing goes. I should make it out to the road there, no problem. So it makes it a respectable distance, not as far as I've gotten with other Bluetooth speakers, and even with the little bare board, when I put my little external antenna on it, I made it all the way across the street. In this case, I just made it to the road. So it's a little bit shorter than other ones. Other Bluetooth receivers that I've tested, I've made it right across the street, which is another 3 or 4 meters than this one, but it still made it a good 17 to 18 meters, which is the range that Bluetooth they say 10 meters. So we did better than 10 meters because, well, it's 30 feet from my door to the street. So I made it beyond the specification for Bluetooth. Let's check out some of the other features that this unit has. It also has an FM radio, and that is accessed by pressing the M button, which has also got your Bluetooth sign on. So if I press this, we're going to press and hold the play pause button, long press, and this will make it search. So it's now going to search all of the FM stations that are available. You need to plug the cord in to act as an antenna. Didn't read that part. So we plug the cord in here. This will act as an antenna. Now let's now it'll let it search. Okay. Now that it's searched the stations, we can press the fast forward key, and it will.
21度西风，风速。
Hotels and attractions must be purchased by 2020.
But really, how many people are actually going to use this as an FM radio? And the fact that you have to plug the power cord in to actually make it receive anything. I mean, it's really, without plugging something in, it's kind of useless, right?
有爱冒险折扣2。
If I unplug the cord, it doesn't receive anything. So the FM radio function, as far as I'm concerned, is kind of useless on this. Some of them work better. The last one that I tested, the FM radio, actually worked pretty good. But this one here, that leaves a lot to be desired because there's no antenna built in, and that is a fail as far as using this thing as a radio goes. But as far as a Bluetooth speaker goes, well, it actually sounds pretty good. We'll try something else. Let's try a little different music, and I won't be able to play it for any length of time here, but let's just try something else on here. Here's a little bit of Paul Simon.
There must be 50 ways to leave your lover, 50 ways to leave and get yourself free. She said, why don't we both just sleep on it tonight? And I believe in the moment yourself free. Oh, you hop on the bus, 'cause you don't need to discuss money and get yourself free.
Okay, that was one. Let's try something else here. So the thing actually doesn't have bad sound. I was really quite impressed. Although I've been quite impressed with the last couple of these speakers that I've tried out, and they've actually been quite impressive. It is only mono sound though. I wish someone would come out with one that had two speakers. How much trouble could it be to put two speakers in? Because we have two ears and everything is recorded in stereo. Why does everything have to be in mono? That's the one pet peeve I've got of all of these devices that I've seen to date, is that they are mono sound only. Now, that's my rant for this. Let's take a look at what's inside of this thing. So let's just crack this thing open because, you know, I can't send this thing back. So let's just take it apart and see. I don't even know how to get this thing apart, but I'm sure that I'll break it somehow. Let's see here. There's got to be a way to get into this thing. Brute force. Imagine that there's probably some screws hidden underneath here somewhere. Probably underneath this rubber base. Okay, so that's just a sticker to protect it. Here's the rubber base so that it doesn't slide around. The other one, if you remember, the base actually made the thing move around on my workbench. This one here, there should be some screws. Ah, here they are. Here are the screws. So we'll take out these small screws here, and this should let us into this unit so that we can see how well this unit is made. This pad, I'm just going to stick it back down so that I don't lose it, because I will be putting this thing back together when I'm done. And I'm sure that one of my kids will commandeer this thing for me. there's the unit. It comes apart quite nicely. There's the little circuit board, and this is the battery. And this is what we're talking about with batteries. Some of the other ones that I've received and tested have had cylindrical cells, which are superior. This one here has a lithium, what is this, lithium polymer battery. It's dated 2016. It would be October the 5th. And here is the capacity on this thing. This is 1.85 watt hours of power on this little battery. But these are the ones that I'm not a big fan of these type of batteries. I mean, understand they have to put them in because for size constraints they have to put these things in. But I much prefer the actual cylindrical type of battery packs that the other ones have had. First of all, they have a higher capacity, but these are the type that if you overcharge them, they can burst into flames. Although that should never happen if you're using the charge cord that comes with it and you're plugging it in just to a USB charger. You should never have to worry because the charge regulator is going to be built in on the board here. Here's our Bluetooth antenna right here. So that's picking up the signal. This part of the base is actually plastic, whereas the actual speaker portion is actually metal. Let's take a look at the speaker portion as well. So we'll just take out the remainder of these screws here, so we can look at the speaker itself and check that out. Ah, it does. There it is. Okay. So that's a little bass port, is what it is. It's got a little bass port on the bottom. There's the speaker. It's a little 4 ohm, 3 watt speaker. You can probably take that speaker out too and take a look at it. Nope, I can't. It's actually, I believe, glued in. The little bracket comes out okay, but the speaker itself, it appears to be glued in. It looks like maybe, and it's got rubber around this piece here to stop any vibrations. But it looks like they've done their job. They've actually set the speaker in, and it looks to be glued right down into the base because that's not moving. So that's actually good because there's nothing worse than having a speaker that vibrates when you kick it with some bass, right? So they've actually done a good job there. And as I say, this thing does actually have some half decent sound for something the size of this. And one of the reasons why it sounds as good as it does is because of the bass port on the bottom. And this has got rubber in here. There's a rubber gasket on here as well. You can see the bass reflector, right? So that goes on here, and then that's screwed back down. So we'll just put that back together. Gotta find the right screws. Where do they go? I guess it went like that. Yes, goes like that. I'll put a link to this also in the video so you guys can check it out if you're interested in this thing. It's not a bad little unit, It's they don't go like that, they go like that. Okay, that sits in there like that. We have our buttons. Make sure that I get them in the right way. And then our little circuit board sits in here. And again, here's our little board. I think the battery just plugs in. Should be a plug on the end of that battery. And it's stuck down with double-sided tape, so I'm not going to pull it out because I don't want to risk damaging the cells. Here's your power switch over here. So you can see, turn it on and it's ready to connect. It's ready for pairing when you turn it on. And it's got the dual color LED. Microphone right here. So we'll just push this back into the circuit board like that, and then we'll put the base back on this unit. Okay. Unit's back together, good as new. Didn't put too many scratches on it. Hey, it's mine, so it doesn't matter, right? We'll turn it back on. we'll just check it out again, make sure everything's working here. So I'm just going to go back into Bluetooth on my phone, and it should pair automatically, which it did. It is now connected on its own. So we'll go back into our file manager and pick some music. I'm going to pick something that I can play, so I'm just going to go pick something that I know has got some pretty good bass on it, and this is going to be from my royalty-free collection here. I'm going to play the 2001 theme, what they call the 2001 Fanfare and Rhapsody. This has got some pretty good bass, so let's just check this out. And I can play this entire track here. That's actually not bad. You know, I listened to that. If you're familiar with that track, it's one from the Music Bakery. It's Jack Waldenmayer, and he conducted a full orchestra on that, obviously. The bass notes on that is incredibly powerful, and a good sound system that will rattle the walls and rattle the windows quite nicely. Believe me, that one's got some pretty deep bass in it. This thing actually did a pretty good job of it, and I didn't hear a lot of distortion on there. It's certainly one worth checking out if you're looking for a little inexpensive Bluetooth speaker. This might be just the answer. It really looks smart. You know what it looks like? It looks like a piston out of a car. That's what it looks like. It looks like the crown of a piston. It's actually kind of cool looking. You know, here's the piston rings here, right? It's actually kind of a cool looking little device, and I think I'm going to keep this one. And I know that my 19-year-old daughter probably would love to have it. She seems to be commandeering everything else that I get, but this one here actually has some weight on it. It's metal, and it feels good, and it will be interesting to see how long the battery runs on this thing. I'm just going to look at the specifications and see what they say the life on the battery should be. It says it should run for 4 hours, is what they're saying. 4 hours of playback time. And they're saying an effective distance of 10 meters. Well, we confirmed that because I got to about 17, 18 meters. So it will work within the 10 meters that they say. And charging time is 2 to 3 hours. So that's it. I'm not going to bother with the micro SD card on it because I don't have a micro SD card formatted in normal FAT32. The only one I've got is the one that's in the camera right now, which is an EX FAT, and I don't think this is going to recognize it. None of them seem to do that. But again, it's just going to play the tracks in order anyway. It's not going to play them random. Nobody's going to use it for that anyway, right? It has the card readers built in, but no one's going to use it. One thing I haven't checked is to whether the headphones are stereo or mono. So let me plug some headphones in, and I'll let you know whether that works in stereo or whether that is just mono. Okay, one last thing I need to do is I need to see if this thing is going to work for a phone call. So I'm just going to phone my number. So this is the sound quality going through the speakerphone. And I'm just phoning it from a free Wi-Fi connection. So that number you saw pop up on the screen. Don't bother calling it. I don't answer that line. It's just a test line. So anyway, it works. Let's see how the sound quality is coming back to the phone itself. So I can hear myself. Oh yeah, I can hear myself clear as a bell. So it sounds really good. And there you go. That's the speakerphone for this thing. Now we can probably turn the volume up. I would imagine that the volume buttons here will control the volume level. So that should be turned up all the way. And that's very clear. So that's the speakerphone function. Well, let's try playing some music and see whether it will. Well, we know it will. If I play music on this phone, when the call comes in, it will ring. But we can try it anyway. Oh, that's weird. Even when sound effects come through the speaker. Let's play it. Okay, I'll try phoning my number again. So we press the button and it works. Now when I get off the phone, it should go back to playing the music. So if I press the button on here again, it should. And we'll try phoning again. I'll try answering it from the phone itself. So it should go back to music, which it does. Try phoning one more time. press the answer button on my Android BlackBerry here, it should answer and go through the speaker, which as you can hear, it does. So this thing does work. It works exactly as it's supposed to. We're going to end the call. And it should go back to music. It says. Things were so much easier with my real BlackBerry. If I want to stop the music, I just close it. None of this looking for the app and shutting it down. That's a quick look at the Bluetooth speaker from Acc. It's called the Model LX839. It's 3-watt speaker. Actually got pretty good bass. Looks like a piston out of a car engine. Pretty cool. Link to it's on the video. Thanks for watching.